Welcome to State of Tech. My name's Jared, and today we're going to talk about how to get better performance and life out of your LG G4. Now, this is a great little phone. It's not really that little. It's a pretty good sized phone, and I really like it. It's probably one of the better Android phones on the market right now as far as performance goes. Now, I've had other phones that have came out around the same time of this. I've had the Samsung Galaxy S6. The S6 Active. I've had the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus. Now, all of those are powerful phones. However, the LG G4 seems to be the least laggy of the phones when using under extreme cases. However, I use my phone a lot. I use my phone all day. I'm bouncing between apps. I've got lots of apps installed. Many of them are running background processes like Android Wear and stuff like that. So how do you get a phone to last all day? And how do you keep it from lagging and getting stuck between applications when you have so many things going on? If you're experiencing these problems, here are some things that you can do to alleviate the pain. Now, first we'll talk about battery life. The battery life on this phone is pretty good. Even in my extreme use cases, I can get pretty much a full day's use out of this phone. It has a removable battery, so worst case scenario, you can always buy a secondary battery and have one charged and readily available. However, we live in 2015 at the time of recording this, where that should not have to happen. You should not have to buy a second battery just to get your phone through a day's worth of use. Samsung Galaxy S6. So, with this phone, if you need to get better life out of your device, perhaps you can disable some of the services that you're not using. It has a lot of different services and options and Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, all of that good stuff, and it is constantly seeking for Wi-Fi signals. There is an option, however, to turn off its ability to auto-connect. So if you turn off the auto-connect to an available AT&T Wi-Fi hotspot, or if you're on another service such as Verizon or T-Mobile or whatever, it will want to look and automatically connect. And if you have that selected, when you're not connected to Wi-Fi, it's always going to be searching, trying to find available connection points. I've disabled that, and it's been a better experience for me as far as Wi-Fi goes. When I'm driving down the road and I'm at a stoplight and some place has AT&T Wi-Fi, my phone doesn't attempt to connect to it, and then when I drive away, spend 30 seconds trying to disconnect from it, which is obviously a poor experience. If I want AT&T's Wi-Fi, I can tap on it manually when I get there. This seems to save battery life for me and also help with frustrations. However, turning Wi-Fi off altogether does save a little bit of power. One of the other things that I find relatively useful is the app called Usage Manager that comes installed on this device. It shows you how much RAM is being used and reminds you that you have apps that are opened. You can always close those apps. There's also a chance that you may have other applications opened. So we'll go ahead and open a couple of applications, and then your multitask window has a bunch of stuff. I mean, look at all these tabs that I have opened from previous apps. Some of these are processes that are still running in the background, or things that are being stored in memory so that you can access them again quickly. If you decide to close all of those, it will prolong your battery life and also give you better performance on your device because it doesn't have all of those processes readily available in memory should you want to switch back to one of them. Now, Android's getting way better at multitasking than day one when they introduced multitasking, but it still takes up valuable memory, and valuable memory takes up valuable battery life. So remembering to close out your applications and even make sure that they're closed out completely by looking at the usage manager and seeing how much RAM is being used. It is very rare that I get down to 54% of my RAM being used. Just having this phone on, it's using a lot of the 3 gigabytes of available RAM that it has. There's also quick links to these connections that I could turn on and off to make sure that I have the best battery life that I can possibly get. The battery saver mode in this phone, when you go and throw battery saver on, is not good. It is not as good as other phones with battery saver modes. It does help you save battery, but it does kind of a poor job at giving you a good phone experience left over when you're in that power saver mode. So those are things that you can do. Also, make sure your screen brightness is set to auto and also have that dragged down like around 30% or something like that. It's plenty bright enough, unless you're in an extremely bright room like the one that I'm in for filming this video. You don't necessarily need to turn up your screen brightness too much. That's going to drain your battery a lot. Also, set the timeout on your screen so that your screen turns off relatively quickly. I typically turn my screen off manually, but in those instances where you set your phone down and you forget to turn the screen off, or you get a phone call or something like that and the screen comes on, setting that timeout so that the screen goes off relatively quickly is also going to help you save battery life. This is a kind of more advanced technique to making your phone perform better. If you go into settings and go into apps, you'll have your downloaded apps on SD card, your running apps, all, and your disabled apps. Your running apps are things that are constantly running in the background and using resources. Maybe you're not even using these apps. You just saw me close out of all the apps. However, Evernote for Android Wear, Hootsuite, Dropbox, Instagram, all of these apps are running. Of course, there are a lot of processes that are running that are required for the phone to operate, but there are a lot of background processes running that are using up valuable memory and halting the performance of my device when I'm not even using them. So some of them you may want to completely quit. You may actually want to download an app for your phone that quits out of the app completely, meaning that the app is not even running in the background to any extent, because the kind of the usage application that we used a minute ago to quit out of apps does not completely quit out of all the apps, as we can see here in the apps that are currently running. So I can go into these and I can stop them if I want manually, but they're just going to start right back up if you do that. What you're going to need to do is decide what apps do I really need on my device and what apps can I delete, because some of these apps are going to run in the background regardless, and they're going to use up your valuable processor and RAM, and that's going to affect how other apps perform. And the times that I've tried to launch the camera and it's lagged on me, or I've went to hit the shutter button and 5 seconds later it takes the picture, those type of lag moments could easily be dealt with by getting rid of some of the apps that I have. Now, that is depressing considering I usually on my iPhone have double the amount of apps that I have on an Android phone, and my iPhone doesn't experience the same type of lag. However, my iPhone doesn't also get the enjoyment of the background tasks that some of these devices do get running in the background and still having the same type of battery life and performance. So there's trade-offs all around. So the gist of this is find things that you can do to help keep your battery life under control. If your phone lags, just shut off some of these processes, delete the apps that you don't end up using. There are apps that I just don't end up using. I install them and I use them once in a blue moon. We all do that. We have apps installed that we don't use. They may or may not be running in the background and using up resources. I had the Kick Messenger app installed because one of my friends was using it and I thought I'd check it out. It runs processes in the background. I never use the app, so I just deleted it. If I ever need the app back, I could reinstall it. A lot of these chat apps and these different types of apps that connect and social media and stuff like that are going to do that. They're going to run in the background because they're constantly pulling in all of your data and all of your updates. So those are things that you can do to keep your phone from the battery running out prematurely, from it lagging and all of that good stuff. For me, I had to sacrifice and uninstall a few apps that I would have liked to have on my device, but they run in the background all the time. I decided just to delete them. I'd rather have a better performing phone than have those apps readily accessible. So, what are your thoughts on that? Do you have any tips that I missed? I'd love to hear about them. I know that there are some really low-level basic tips that I did not cover that don't really make that big of a difference these days. However, I wanted to go with some actual useful stuff that would make a difference and change the battery life expectancy out of your phone for a day. So thanks for checking out this video. There are links to other videos below. Subscribe to our channel where we do videos like this, tutorials, app reviews, product reviews, all that good stuff. We'd love to share more with you on our channel, State of Tech, and our website, stateoftech.net. Thanks a lot.